When local growers put great food on Tennessee tables, that's living green. Tonight on Live Green Tennessee, we head to Cookeville, where Holt Bee Farm is sustaining the bee population and producing local honey for the area. Then we go down to Chattanooga, where the 212 Market Restaurant is serving high-end dishes for fresh and local ingredients. Finally, we'll head east to Oak Ridge, where Aaron's Meadow Herb Farm is educating the community on the many uses of herbs. All this and more on Live Green Tennessee coming up next.
This program is brought to you in part by...
Behind every Pick Tennessee Products logo is a Tennessee farmer who brings you fresh, local food grown with the kind of pride that gets handed down through generations. From now through fall, you can find Tennessee fruits and vegetables on farms and at farmers markets near you. Find your Tennessee farmers at picktnproducts.org.
What makes our state unique? Find out on the new Tennessee Channel, a statewide initiative by your public television stations. Each program is created in Tennessee, about Tennessee, and broadcast in Tennessee.
The Tennessee Channel, Saturdays 6 to 10 p.m. Eastern and Sundays 2 to 6 p.m. Eastern, right here on your public television station.
Funding for this program was provided in part by the United States Department of Agriculture. Connecting the grower to the buyer, the country to the city, and smart shopping with a healthy lifestyle. It's Live Green Tennessee.
Hello, I'm Melinda Kiefer, and I'm proud to bring you stories from across our great state on Live Green Tennessee. Beekeeping is not as popular as it used to be, but Greg Holt of Holt Bee Farm in Cookeville is keeping the art alive. Raising bees for the past 30 years, the Holt family is producing fresh honey to the local community and helping to sustain the bee population. WCTE Steve Hobbs shows us how this family farm is not only passing on their love for beekeeping to a new generation, but is also sustaining an important part of our environment.
Well, I've been in bees for about 35 years, I guess, and I first started, I always wanted to keep them, and I used to have an orchard, and I got them for pollination. I hadn't really ever talked to anybody that kept bees, but I read a lot, so I knew everything, I thought. Probably like getting honey the least. I like eating honey the most, but probably as the work is involved, I enjoy making new hives, raising queens, and multiplying my hives that way, and I find that the most interesting. And you get to watch the bees and learn more about the bees than you do anything else. Years ago, when I was a kid, every other farm out in the country probably had bees, and there was no problems with raising bees. And then in the 80s, we got mites of two different types. And the first one come by and wiped all the wild bees out. And then they came up with insecticides or miticides to kill the mites. And they found that the miticide did as much damage to the bees as the mite itself. So you had a double deal there. So now they've come up with we try to breed bees where they don't have the mites, where they can live with the mites. They have the mites, but they can live with them and they can fight them off. And we also have organic acids that some people put in the hives, and it's just enough to kill the mites, and it don't hurt the bees, and it don't build up in the wax, and it don't hurt anything. When half these bees go to California, they do a lot of visiting out there, and if they don't have the mite when they go, or if they don't have a certain bug when they go, they'll have it when they come back. They also get stressed from hogging them like that. And then they go back to Florida, Louisiana, wherever they go to. Those people divide them up and sell them as packages and nooks and bees to other people, and they start all over from there. Also, they start from there, and they go from crop to crop, up the coast and around all across the country. And it's just, there's no pocket hardly anymore that bees can get and be protected, because somewhere a bee is going to be sick. Some people think it's kind of a perfect storm where the mite, the stress, the insecticides, all together, the insecticides they weaken the bees. The queens don't seem to be as fertile as they used to be. They don't seem to last as long as they used to be. Some of the bees don't seem to last as long, and a lot of people think that's insecticides. A lot of people said that the world would end without bees. I don't agree that it would end, but it would change for us. Probably one of every third bite that you eat is pollinated either directly or indirectly by bees. You wouldn't starve to death, but your exotic diet would be gone. You'd have no berries, you'd have no fruit, watermelon, squash, affect almost everything. One bite out of every 3 that you eat is either pollinated by bees or indirectly or directly. Honeybee is probably a true social bug, and through the winter all of them live. Not all of them, but enough of the worker bees and the queen bee makes it through the winter to start in the spring. So they don't hibernate, they just kindly cluster up and shiver and stay warm in the wintertime. Whereas a bumblebee, only the queen bee survives the winter, and she'll get out and start new from her. She'll start laying eggs and does some work. Where the honeybee queen never leaves the hive after she goes and gets bred, unless she swarms. Swarming bees is that's the way they reproduce. And in the spring, when there's a honey or nectar flow on, and they're rich, and I guess they feel like they're ready to build on and move some out, the old queen will lay eggs in queen cells, and she'll lay as many as 10 or more. At that time, before they're capped, before the queen cell is capped, she takes half the bees, and they'll sit there, they'll go where the queen goes. When she goes out, they all gather around her, and there'll just be a bush, looks like a basketball, or as big as can be as big as a basketball. And they'll sit there, and when it sits there, they've got maybe, let's say there's 100 scout bees, and each scout bee will go out in their own direction, and they look for a new home. And when the scout bee comes back, it's the one that they do a dance. And then from that scout will take more scouts and more bees out and look at that place. They'll check it out. And they might check out several. And then finally they'll decide, how they decide, I don't know, but finally they'll decide. And when they do, that hive the swarm will just take up and leave, and it'll be just gone just as fast as it comes. And they go in a beeline to wherever the new hive is, wherever the box is. There's 3 bees in the hive. You've got the worker bee, the drone bee, which is the male bee, and you've got the queen bee. Queen bee is the mother of all of them. The difference in her and a worker bee is she's a full blown female bee, complete. The worker bees are all female, but they're not complete. They can't be bred. And the difference is that when they go from an egg to a larva, the first 3 days, they get royal jelly. Royal jelly is what nurse bees, which is about a 3-week-old bee, they eat pollen and honey or nectar, and they produce some milky-like stuff. A lot of bees are extinct. Some kinds of bees are extinct. There's more kinds of bees in this country than there are animals, for sure. But a lot of them are extinct, and the insecticides we use is just devastating. Well, the more we have, the better it is. That's about the way it is. The more pollination. They're so important, and there's less and less of them. Even though we have the insecticides and different things killing them, we still need to come on strong and have more beekeepers and more bees and more honey. And
the revitalization of downtown Chattanooga is often linked with the opening of the Tennessee Aquarium in 1992, but that was also the year the 212 Market Restaurant opened just down the block. The restaurant is a favorite among locals and visitors alike. And for over 20 years, the 212 Market Restaurant has been committed to using fresh local ingredients and sustainable practices. Sean Tonley of WTCI shows us how this staple of downtown has been doing what's best for the environment for over 2 decades.
My name is Sally Moses. My sister, mom, and I run and own this restaurant, 212 Market. We started the restaurant as a family concern, wanting to do good food with local sources. Our family has always valued where we lived and the natural beauty and our resources. I guess we grew up knowing that ice cream was made from a cow and it was spoiled if you didn't get it made right, and you really enjoyed it when you had it. So we loved every ingredient, and we took care of how it came into the restaurant and how it was treated while it was here and how it left. And I don't know that we cared about the green movement. It's just always been a way of life for us.
We love using the local farmers and supporting them, and they support us. I've already had a farmer coming in, and he's already bringing me some local tomatoes and corn today, and we're getting like all this okra and green peppers, just tons of local produce now. These are grown in Tennessee by a man named Mike Frasrand, who has probably the nicest figs in the whole state, I would imagine. These came from Wildwood, and then we've got all these are wild blackberries, sun golds from Crabtree, eggplants are coming in. These are some special purple peppers. I could show you that the difference between some of the local produce and the stuff that we've sent. It's so much nicer when we can get them locally, because they're really just picked that morning or that day often, and they're just really fresh. That we use ingredients that come to us, and we try to find new creative ways to fit them into our menu, because we get so many. In fact, often when I try to design a menu, I will just list a bunch of ingredients on one side, and it's like a puzzle. And then I put, and it's like match this with that and try to figure it out. And the bison is coming from Burton Brown's Eagle's Rest. We buy bison of all types from him. We buy tenderloin, all sorts of roasts.
Yeah, I enjoy working with 212 Market. They're committed to local and green, and they've really loved my bison products. They've been probably the most consistent supporter of what I'm doing in any restaurant in Chattanooga. 212 saves their scraps for me, particularly the corn shucks, and it's like dessert for them, and they really come for that.
Composting is a large part of any restaurant, especially here at 212. We make everything from scratch, so we have a lot of potato peels and eggshells and meat scraps, and so we've saved those since 1992. All of our non-meat scraps goes just in another garbage can that either a pig farmer picks up or a farmer for compost picks up. Our meat scraps, either if it's something that can be used for human consumption, the Chattanooga Food Bank picks it up once a week. We keep it in the freezer until then. Otherwise, the zoo or the nature center picks it up for their animals. 212's recycling is pretty basic. We have a box, 2 or 3 boxes actually behind the bar, where as things come in, we separate the color of glass. Instead of going in the garbage, it just goes into a box. At the end of the night, we carry it out, and Orange Grove picks it up twice a week for us. Orange Grove is an institution for people with learning disabilities or some kind of injury, and to keep them employed, the city has used them for recycling, and it does the city a lot of good by sorting out our garbage and saving it from the landfill.
BioPlus Earth #1.
All of our to-go-ware is styrofoam free. That's very important because styrofoam doesn't go away.
But it is also made from a company called Nature Works, and it's made out of corn. These are called spud forks. They're made out of potato, because the corn ones, if you were to put it in, say, a hot, like mashed potatoes, that would melt.
A lot of churches and schools are coming by to say, where do you get this? How can we implement it and get rid of styrofoam? We've done things like change our ice maker that used to vent hot air into the kitchen, which is already really hot, that we would have to cool down. So just by changing that and venting it through the roof, it's helped a little bit, and it's made our ice machine, a little bit more economical. We collect rainwater and the condensation off of our air conditioning unit, which throws off a lot of water. It actually fills a rain barrel at least once a day. And that channels out into our herb garden. We have all kinds of herbs, tomatoes, flowers that we cut for the tables. Our building at 212 is not perfectly suited for solar, but there were some opportunities. So we put on about a 20-watt unit. We get, in the peak months, about $600 back on our bill. And we also use it to cover our outside deck. It's a lot more friendly with solar panels over it. The folks that helped us put our solar in mentioned one day, oh, electric car chargers are coming to town, and thought, that's cool. So we found out about it online, and we have a few users that come every Sunday brunch and charge up their car and have a nice meal. .212 Market has been here for about 20 years, a little over, and we've always tried to serve great food from local sources. We think about everything we throw out, everything that comes in and everything that goes out of the building. There's a lot of waste in the restaurant industry, and a lot of it doesn't have to be. We care a lot about our community. We want to keep it clean, we want to keep it green, and we hope that our customers appreciate that.
Parsley, rosemary, and thyme are just some of the herbs you can find at Aaron's Meadow Herb Farm. Located just outside of Oak Ridge, this organic herb farm is dedicated to herbal education and offers many classes and workshops year-round. Aromatherapy, cooking demonstrations, and natural herbal remedies are all things you can find at this herbal oasis. East Tennessee PBS's Chris Smith shows us how this herb farm is not only a space to learn about the natural world, but a place to unwind and celebrate what it means to live green.
Welcome to Aaron's Meadow Herb Farm. I'm Kathleen Aaron, so that's how I got the name for my herb farm. And we started 17 years ago here with just one greenhouse, and we've grown to 3 greenhouses, display gardens, and a huge production garden, as well as our classes. What our focus is here at the herb farm is herbal education. Our main product is our organically grown herb plants, but we also sell organic gardening supplies. We offer herbal education classes. Every home needs to have an herb garden. We tell people a house is only a home when you have an herb garden. There's so many benefits throughout the year to having an herb garden. Obviously, cooking with fresh herbs, making herbal teas, basic herbal medicines, bringing the herbs into your home for decorative and fragrances and gift giving. Everyone should have an herb garden. There's so many benefits, and they can be used throughout the year. We've been organic gardeners for 17 years, and as you look around the farm here, you can see there's no problem growing herbs and vegetables and flowers within an organic method. It's a very simple method. It's been important to us from the day one of the herb farm, just for the safety of our food, our family, our pets. We really feel like it's the only way to garden. Living green has been important to us because it empowers us. It gives us control over what we surround ourselves with, what we put in our bodies, and we enjoy kind of being the creator of all of that and working with nature, to provide, our family safe food and healthy food. And so living green is very simple. It's just about working with nature, working with the natural systems, and it's a little bit of trial and error, but basically it's a very simple lifestyle. We actually grow many herbs here that you can't find anywhere else. We have the largest selection of herbs in East Tennessee, everything from basil, rosemary, thyme, sage, but then also some medicinal things like valerian and skullcap, some things that you don't find just in your regular garden centers. It really is our specialty. We feel that educating people in using herbs as natural remedies is very important. You have to remember that in days gone by, most people turned to their garden and yard and forest for medicine. And it wasn't anything really amazing to do that. We've gotten away from that a little bit. Herbal and natural remedies are so safe. Also, you have to remember that 80% of the world still relies on herbs and plants every day for simple home remedies. They're safe, they're effective, and you can grow them and pick them from your own yard. So it's really very important, I think, to educate people, empower people to take a little bit of control over their own health. Whether a small plot in the yard or a container garden, people are really interested in growing herbs because of their health benefit in cooking. So we do a lot of gardening classes, we do a lot of cooking classes to show people how to use herbs in their everyday meals, as well as how to use herbs as remedies, simple remedies for the family, from mom and dad, the kids, everyone, as well as crafting with herbs, herbal cosmetics. The list really goes on, and we enjoy our students in our classes so much. And we really like the garden to gourmet, plant to plate, method of our students can go out into the garden, harvest the vegetables here at the farm. The chefs bring them into the kitchen and they just put their own spin on them, fresh vegetables and herbs, herbal pizza, Asian cooking. And so the chefs really teach people just the basics of cooking and the simplicity of cooking right out of the garden. And a lot of people don't know what to do with fresh produce. So it's a really great education for those getting started in cooking. Well, Aaron's Meadow Herb Farm is open to the public year-round. We are basically an agritourism business. Our hours vary per season, but we are open regularly and people can come and tour the garden, shop for plants, of course take a class, pick up an essential oil. So we are always open. We are also developing a venue for events. So we've had weddings and parties here, and people just really enjoy the natural setting of the herb farm and touring the gardens, and we have people come out and picnic with their kids. So we are here and open to the public year-round. New this year at the herb farm is we now have our own beehives, and they are cared for by local beekeepers here in Anderson County, and it has been a wonderful experience to see the bees working the garden plants and to enjoy the product of that hard work by the bees, which is our herbal honey. When you walk into the gift shop at Aaron's Meadow Herb Farm, you're going to find a lot of fun gardening items. We enjoy all the accessories and the different things that you can add to your garden, from fairy gardening to whimsical things for the garden. So you'll find some fun things for your garden. You'll also find organic gardening supplies, natural pesticides and herbicides to use in your garden, organic fertilizers. So that's in the gift shop as well. And we really like the farm look and accessories. So you'll find a lot of fun things to decorate your home and patio that kind of, bring the farm and organic lifestyle, to your surroundings. Aaron's Meadow Herb Farm is a wonderful place to visit, whether you're local or you have relatives coming in and they're gardeners and they love herbs and plants. We have display gardens to tour. We have several festivals throughout the year that you can attend. Our upcoming Basil Festival is a favorite. We have a Spring Herb Festival. We even go into the winter months using our herbs in crafting and holiday decorating. So we really want to invite everyone that loves herbs and gardening and nature to come out and visit the farm, tour the greenhouses, visit the gift shop, and spend a day here with us. We'll do everything we can to make it a great experience for you.
Thank you for tuning in and learning how Tennessee is leading the way towards a more sustainable and green lifestyle. Join us for the upcoming season of Live Green Tennessee, where we'll bring you more news about the farmers and businesses who are making the move to eating fresh and living green possible for us all. If you'd like more information about Live Green Tennessee, please visit our website at livegreentv.org, where you'll find everything from healthy recipes to past episodes and much more.
This program is brought to you in part by
Behind every Pick Tennessee Products logo is a Tennessee farmer who brings you fresh, local food grown with the kind of pride that gets handed down through generations. From now through fall, you can find Tennessee fruits and vegetables on farms and at farmers markets near you. Find your Tennessee farmers at picktnproducts.org.
What makes our state unique? Find out on the new Tennessee Channel, a statewide initiative by your public television stations. Each program is created in Tennessee, about Tennessee, and broadcast in Tennessee.
The Tennessee Channel, Saturdays 6 to 10 p.m. Eastern and Sundays 2 to 6 p.m. Eastern, right here on your public television station.
Funding for this program was provided in part by the United States Department of Agriculture and by the generous support of the Corporation for Public Broadcasting.